Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I'm Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and today we are breaking down the Denver Broncos 2024 NFL Draft. Very exciting draft for them, and just a fun draft in general. So these will be all their selections. But before we do that, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tackle that bell to get notified when new Broncos videos come out. We're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the start of the 2024 NFL season. So a lot of help needed between now and September, but any help is greatly appreciated. And so, Ryan, let's pull up the slides here. Not too much of a surprise here. Even kind of too leading up to the draft, especially like throughout the month of April, like we were talking about it even during our mock drafts. Just kind of go and sit there and seeing the way the boards are going to fall and how desperate Minnesota was getting to go and get a quarterback. Everybody knew the Falcons were going to draft a quarterback as well. It just kind of made sense too that Bo Nix would be available there at 12 overall pick. But not only then, too, just would he be available? It was kind of they had to do it. Like, even though I know they traded for Zach Wilson, but it's like Sean Payton really going to hang his hat on Zach Wilson, especially too as like now this is his team. Like this is now Sean Payton. Nothing's left over from, or maybe a little bit of stuff might be left over from the Nathaniel Hackett. But now this is quarterback. I think too, if there's going to be a guy that we've seen grow and adapt into multiple different systems and just kind of make the best of his ability throughout his college career, Bo Nix is a guy here, and you put him in a Sean Payton system. We've kind of talked about maybe he's reached his ceiling, like or about as much as we're going to get from him. But maybe there's another level there that Sean Payton can go in and find. But if you go look at the offensive system from last year, a lot of dink and dunk, or then a lot of deep balls, a lot of high percentage throws, and that is Bo Nix in a nutshell. And that was his season this past year. So I don't really think there's too much to talk about because I think everybody's already said a bunch about Bo Nix. But what are your kind of overall expectations for Bo Nix here?
I think he is. He's already, I think, the best quarterback in that room, and maybe like Jarrett Stidham shows him like a couple nuances that that Bo Nix has never seen or learned and whatnot, but like he's already the best quarterback in that room, and that's a pretty low bar. But I just think
very low bar.
I just think consistency wise, he's already there. He has decent playmaking ability. I don't think that the Broncos are going to be very good, but I think we'll see some good things from Bo Nix this year, just in this system, because I think this system is going to be set up for him to succeed. So, like you said, there's not really too much to say. I'm not going to lie. I actually, on day 2 of the draft, forgot this pick happened because I felt like in my head when it actually happened, I was like, okay, Bo Nix went to the Broncos, next pick. Like everybody felt like everybody already knew what was going to happen there.
And I remember too, we were live, and I think the entire world was still wrapping their heads around Michael Penix's pick at the moment. Now we've kind of had some time to digest it, and you can maybe make an argument for or against it now. But I remember in the moment, though, we just kind of remember, like, I remember we're talking like, oh, Minnesota traded up. They're going to get J.J. McCarthy. What did the Falcons just do? You know, and then you say, Olu would be like, okay, Olu, it's good tackle, you know, whatnot. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Falcons again, you know, we were just I was clearly invested in the Michael Penix pick, as you could tell by the screen. But Bo Nix, though, too, I think it was one of those. I would have been more shocked if they didn't go with Bo Nix because we went through all the scenarios too during our mock drafts and even off screen as well. And you're just like, the next pick now wasn't until 76. If we want to go to the next one, I like this pick, the fact that Jonah Ellis fell to them. But it really was. It was like no other quarterback really would have made sense for them if they needed somebody to start now. You know, and I think Bo Nix could come in, he can get the starting job, but also too, there's still some competition of some veteran experience there with Jarrett Stidham and also Zach Wilson. I don't know if it's good veteran experience, but still,
I agree.
It's veteran experience.
Yeah. So let's move on to the second pick that the Broncos made, and I actually really like this pick as well because I was a big fan of Jonah Ellis, really good edge rusher out of Utah. Not going to provide a lot of support in the run game specifically. But I do really like kind of what he brings to the table. He has some pass rush moves developed already. Not a super raw guy, but he's still a good athlete as well.
Yeah, I think it's something just good value. But, you know, a lot of people had him projected here in the 40s or 50s. And so I think him falling down to 76, had him picked for a little while. You just get a good player. And really, I think with the Broncos, I'm trying to think of teams right now immediately off the top of my head, but they might be the most rebuild team of all the rebuild teams. I think you can
Yeah.
maybe make an argument. Obviously, the Cardinals are in there, but the Cardinals had all these draft picks, so it might be
Yeah.
more obvious. And
The
they got a lot
Patriots
of
are
really good players.
in that group as well.
Patriots in that
And
group.
Commanders, but those are top 3 picking teams.
Yeah, but well, and they're top 3 picking teams, and also they had so many draft picks. Broncos didn't really have that many draft picks. They ended up only having 7 throughout, and only 2 in the top 100. So here, just getting a great player, I think is huge. And Jonah Ellis, probably my favorite pick though. To me, this is what kind of brings a grade up a lot though. Is you talked about setting him up for success.
Yeah.
Troy Franklin fell, and just having that familiarity immediately. And Troy Franklin didn't test that well. He had a great career at Oregon, but I think Sean Payton is going to figure out what to do with Troy Franklin here. And already Bo Nix, Troy Franklin are very familiar with one another. So if there's ever honestly a time, to go and get a trade up for a receiver here just outside the top 100, go get the guy that has a great connection with the rookie quarterback that you just picked at number 12 overall. So I really like the Bo Nix Troy Franklin connection here, but also too, it's what a need for this team overall.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially with the Jerry Jeudy trade going down. That's gonna need another guy outside of Cortland Sutton that can come in and contribute. And I know they got Marvin Mims last year as well, so I think Troy Franklin will fit right in that group. So just to wrap it up here really quick, and then we'll get into our grades. Chris Abrams train, I like that pick as well. That's good value. I thought he would go early in the 4th. Audric Estime, another really versatile back, a little bit, actually not a little bit, a lot of bit bigger than Javonte Williams. Devon Veely, another wide receiver, and then Nick Gargiulo. Yeah. A center there. So just a couple depth pieces there at the end. But honestly, even the first 3 guys, I think, could see some serious contribution early on in their career. So let's get into our grades here. So you gave them an A-. I gave them a B+. For me, the average was like around a B- to like a B. A B+ is like an above average grade. And for me, I think I liked Bo Nix. I didn't love Bo Nix coming out of college, whereas I think like the Broncos love Bo Nix. And I like, good, you got your guy. I just don't see him as the elite quarterback. Right. I think he's just a game manager. And I think when you're hitching your draft on that wagon, to me, like that kind of caps the ceiling of what I'll give your draft, if that makes any sense.
I totally get that as well. I think it was the right pick. I can agree that he was definitely not the best player on the board, but the Broncos, I think, were kind of hamstrung a little bit.
Especially with the 5 quarterbacks going right before that, like, you don't risk that.
Well, that's where I think props to them for not getting desperate. Props to them for being like, we're going to see what absolutely happens. If the Raiders are going to jump over them, like they can go ahead and do it, and they'll figure it out. That's why you trade for Zach Wilson. And I think you just figure it out. They probably would have gotten Spencer Rattler with the 76 pick. I still think, though, I know they're going to give Bo Nix a couple of years, but I also think, too, though, he is the 6th quarterback off the board. They'll remember that. I think his leash is still short. I think if he has a horrible rookie year, we've seen guys like that, Christian Ponder, Jake Locker, come. It's like it's almost kind of like a one and done. Zach Wilson, it's kind of like a one and done type ordeal. Because it's still the NFL, it's very competitive. The Broncos are picking 4th or 5th overall next year, and there's a good quarterback class next year. Like Shedeur Sanders is projected to get there. Actually, Shedeur Sanders going to Denver would be kind of crazy. Actually, just being in Colorado. But so I'm just talking about just those different scenarios. But I give them the extra credit. I think Jonah Ellis is good value. I like that they traded up for Troy Franklin, addressed the receiver room, but also then got a receiver that your young quarterback with question marks is very familiar with. And then I think also to get an Audric Estime, and then even to get another receiver as well with Devon Veely. I think they were best player available, all things considered, and I thought they hit in some pretty good spots. Didn't really overthink the draft as well. So I would say it was above average for me in that department.
Yeah. Oh no, I think they got good players at good value, and that's kind of hard to be mad at. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of the Denver Broncos 2024 draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you have done differently? None of that. We'll see you guys